This is about Jimmy the Bimmy Kimmel. And there was this whole big hullabaloo on the left celebrating not only his return from cancellation or suspension, but his massive boost in numbers. But what had to be inevitable to anyone who was paying attention that these numbers were not going to stay. People were only going to be curious about him to see what he would do. Would he apologize? Would he be an a-hole? What was the outcome of all of this? And so now we find that, oopsie doopsie, the numbers have crashed. I didn't get to this a couple days ago, so I kind of want to touch on it today. Jimmy Kimmel's big comeback crashes by the third day, with ratings plummeting 70%. Oh no. Late night host Jimmy Kimmel's comeback was embarrassingly short-lived. Since his return to the airwaves, Kimmel has enjoyed a significant boost in support from radical leftists, I added the radical part, who wanted to stick it to the Republicans. And on Tuesday, he saw, Jimmy, a record of 6.3 million average viewers, many of whom undoubtedly turned in to see what he would say about his suspension. But on Wednesday night, he only managed to pull in 2.4 million, which is leagues above his normal average of 1.7, but constitutes a 70% drop from the previous day. He managed to climb over Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon, but fell short of Gutfeld, who's on cable on Fox, which is 3.2 million average viewers. And it will likely continue to return to its baseline viewership in the coming days and weeks, which means it will once again be costing the network money to produce. Outkick's Bobby Barack wrote, between Kimmel making around $17 million a year, his large staff, and the show's production out of Los Angeles, ABC is almost certainly losing money on the program. For comparison, CBS is losing around $40 million per year by producing Stephen Colbert's competing late-night program, which draws 30% more viewer than Kimmel's. They spend way too much money on this stuff. It's like Hollywood right now, overspending on every one of their films, which is why they're losing money hand over fist. Anyway, American Wire goes on to write that, but as Kimmel's contract approaches its end, ABC will be stuck between the options of resigning him so they don't risk angering the left-wing mob or cutting him off to help stem the loss of their money, Barack predicts. And by the way, I think the only reason, this is just my personal opinion here, I think the only reason why his suspension ended as quickly as it did is there were death threats at some of the ABC affiliates. The radical left at it again. Now, X-users reacted to the shocking dip in viewership. You had some guy named Chris who said, this is why Sinclair Next Star put him back on. They figured they'd take the high road and just have him fail on his own. JSB wrote, of course, everyone logged on to see what numbnuts was going to say when he came back on the air, and that shouldn't be confused with the show somehow magically becoming popular. Because the left, by the way, was telling everyone, oh, he's popular now. Donald Trump is saved. Jimmy the Bimmy Kimmel, it's great. Everything's good. But no. Thor Odinson wrote, yep, people stopped to see the car crash for a minute, but then kept driving. And let's be honest, that's because Jimmy Kimmel is boring. He must have been a comedian somewhere, but for the life of me, I can't remember when. His show was just outright boring. I've tried to watch it once or twice over the years, and it's just, oh my God, I can't make it through a program. Let's see. MAGA Mike writes, they did us a favor putting him back on. Now he'll get canceled because he's horrible instead of everyone blaming Trump. Where is my hat? Says it's because people are getting tired of people talking about politics and every single thing they do. Ding, ding, ding. It's supposed to be a comedy show, but it's just politics. Angela Clifton writes, I didn't think Jimmy Kimmel could make me laugh, but that certainly did. Meaning his drop in numbers. And Amy says, this is my prediction. Disney brought him back to prove they are for free speech, and then it will silently pull him off the air in less than 2 months because his ratings are so bad. And affiliates refuse to air the show. So, yeah, Jimmy's numbers are basically cratering, and we'll see. But it doesn't look good for the Kimster. And